to Dare to Disagrees, ladies and gentlemen, your weekly episodic podcast where we, regular Joes that are doing all right, teach our people exactly what it takes to survive in this crazy, crazy world. I'll be your host, Jonathan Esther out of California.
This is Alone in the Dark in beautiful Colorado.
The night white in Tennessee,
The
or white night,
Yeah,
whatever you call it.
night white.
the night
I'll
white.
take that.
That works. That's all you guys need to know about that side of the equation, guys. Really kind of answers all of those questions. Well, that's the show. Um, on another wonderful Wednesday when we actually show up for this job, that we're not getting paid for, and get a little recognition for, even though we're solving the world's
I'm
problems.
paying you guys an exposure. Okay. I think we're now.
We're so blessed. Anyway, just to warn everybody, I'm walking in here with no topic and no idea on topics. I had quite the busy week, but Mr. Alone in the Dark seems to have an overload of topics after posting that brilliant changing my mind on Trump, which I haven't read.
Yeah, of course not. You guys don't read this shit. Nobody
No.
writes for it except for me. I don't know how this is everybody's fucking blog, and I'm the only one that put it in work, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Anyways, the first thing I want to get, before we get into that, first thing I want to talk about was, did you guys see Kim Kardashian's nude selfie?
I think, was it the one with the black bars? Like she was just standing in front of a mirror with like a cell phone in her hand?
Yeah, and I was pretty unhappy because I thought those
Yeah,
bars
yeah,
were
I got
added in by the news, but no, apparently that's
Yeah,
really
I think that was the Twitter. I
Is
thought the
that
same
what Bette
thing.
Midler- Is that what Bette Midler was bitching about?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's actually what that whole thing went from. Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
it was a
Bunch
funny
of people.
joke though. It was a funny joke. If you want us to see something we haven't seen, you better swallow that camera. It's like that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. It ain't off target, of course.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But and I'm trying to track down. Here we go. I found that selfie right here, so people can see what we're talking about. Number one, I've seen a number of people talk about, man, Kim Kardashian's not even fucking hot. She's just some dirty freaking blah 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 blah. I'll tell you what, if you're saying that, I think you're lying to yourself. Okay? Don't get me wrong. I don't like the woman. I think she's I mean, just not really her herself. It's not her I dislike because I don't know the bitch. I can't fucking hate you just hearing about you on the news. Okay? I really hate the people that make her famous because it's just such a big sign of how useless our fucking nation is. Like, I mean, how degenerate are we that this is what becomes famous? This girl's done nothing for any, and it's not even, she hasn't even done nothing in the sense like normal artists do nothing. Like people sing and dance, and all of a sudden, people are going crazy like they're a fucking prophet. How many times have you guys heard, what's his name, Tupac be called a prophet?
Yeah.
The motherfucker isn't a prophet. And don't get me wrong, I think he's a great musician, but that's what he is. He's a musician.
Yeah.
He fucking raps and he dances. That's it. Don't go crazy about this shit, And but even then, at least he's doing something, creating something. Kardashians don't even do that, They don't
Yeah.
even make it that far.
She's got that app.
Yeah, and apparently that's making some fucking bread too. Well, according to
Start
her.
hearing about it.
It
No,
is.
It makes some fucking bread. Those
It-
in-app purchases.
Yeah.
She's got that shit on lock.
Which is kind of funny because I clearly remember, what's his name, Kanye West bitching. He said something about if you make apps for kids and you have in-app purchases, you're a scumbag, right?
Yeah.
And then his wife does pretty much exactly that.
Imagine that, though.
He doesn't mind cashing those checks,
53 million of them, baby.
Yeah. Pay off this $53 million debt, please,
Well, that was
But,
her comeback to Bette Midler was something about the 53 million.
Yeah.
bread. It's pretty
Yeah,
fucking
she
funny.
said something about I'd cash in my $80 million check for this, put a $53 million in my joint account to take care of that, That's not a bad comeback, But what's kind of interesting is the comeback she had against the other kind of famous chick who was bitching about her. Let me see if I can pull that up. I don't. I've seen this girl in movies. I mean, she's never been in any really popular movies that I know of. But I think most people are right. Chloe Moretz or something.
Yeah.
Morse. And Kim Kardashian made one good point, and somebody else made a pretty good point to this girl. Okay, so that girl is the one who made that. Said something about how about you respect yourself and blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
But number one, Kim Kardashian came back with, hey, that was a really nice cover you did on such and such magazine, nylon cover, right? Let's all welcome her to Twitter so she knows nobody knows who she is. Your nylon cover is cute, bro, or boo, right?
Wow.
And so I had to look that up, and here's this girl appearing half naked
Oh my gosh.
on the cover of a fucking magazine. Now, it's nowhere near as explicit as Kim Kardashian's, but I mean, she's definitely exposing her body.
For personal gain.
Yeah, exactly. Here's one. That's not the cover though. That's one of the pictures in the magazine, and here's the cover. Oh yeah, that's not the cover. This is the cover. Okay. Here she is, naked, covered by a fucking jacket thrown all over her. Who the fuck is she to talk about it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Do
if
as
you're
I
gonna
say,
do the
not as I do.
yeah, exactly. But another point that I think somebody else made to this girl, the Chloe here, was, hey, how about you stop slut shaming her, and which is hilarious to me. Because this girl, I mean, I don't think she's ever been like a rampaging freaking feminist, but that's what she was talking about, and that's another big feminist thing. If I go out and say, hey, girl, quit dressing like a slut, go put some clothes on, I'm gonna get torn apart.
Yeah.
Yep.
People are gonna be coming at me like, don't be fucking, just because she's a liberated woman, etc., 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 right?
Yep.
And I'm trying to find who she's replying to, and I don't think she actually says who she's replying to. But somebody called her out on that. You're slut shaming her. Okay, she doesn't mind appearing, half naked on the internet. That's her decision. How about you just respect her choice? And she replies, there's a huge difference in respecting the platform that you're given as a celebrity and slut shaming something I've never done, would never do. So the question I have is, what the fuck are you talking? Are you saying that you being a celebrity somehow makes you different than other women? That them going out acting like sluts, oh, whatever, that's their decision, but I actually have a platform I have to be aware of, so
Yeah.
I gotta be more careful. What? That almost makes it sound like you think you're better than all normal women who don't appear in, third-rate TV shows, and suddenly you have some fucking respectable platform you have to be. Bitch, you're not a fucking politician. You're an actress who appears half naked all the fucking time. Like that's not a platform. But what do you guys think? I mean, does she have a point that maybe this bitch needs to go put some clothes on?
I think they're all just trying to stay relevant, man. They get paid to stay relevant, and that's all they're doing.
I
mean,
wouldn't.
Honestly.
to an extent, I think that's true too. Wait. Quick sidebar before I answer. Do you guys want to know how much these guys get paid per some of these endorsement tweets?
Oh Lord,
Oh,
I
Jesus.
had no idea.
Wild guess.
I don't know, let's say 50 grand.
I'm gonna say 200. 200 grand.
Good guess. So
Wow.
in 2010, Kim Kardashian was reported by some online websites as getting paid $10,000 per tweet. Now, as of what was it? 2013, I believe. She was demanding $750,000 to $1 million, and that's not including accommodations, travel, yada yada yada.
It's a pretty good trade-off, though. I mean, honestly, I can see the value in that.
Well, I mean,
It reaches a big audience,
Yeah.
obviously. I mean, I can see the value in it. I mean, whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter if you're using your fingers. Your time is money. It's the old adage. And, if somebody's going to be making money off of you, you should be part of it. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
well, I think personally my issue with Kardashians. Like this whole story, I thought was a non-issue once I saw a rich person commenting on Kardashian's lifestyle. I was just
Yeah.
like, God knows what sins you have in your back pocket. I don't even care.
Skeletons.
Yeah, that at that point I was like, I don't think you get that level of success without having some kind of. I think it's pretty clear now you don't get that level of success without some kind of shade in your past. You know, you blew a director for a role way back when you started, or you modeled for some company when you were living in a one-bedroom apartment trying to make it. You did something that, if you make it, would be considered lowbrow just to get there. Heck, Jay-Z
Sure.
sold crack, so I mean,
Gotta
they
do what
they
you
all
gotta
have, yeah, they all have a past, but I mean, you're absolutely right. I think what this girl pushes forward is brand management. It's brand naming. It's kind of like what Trump does. You
Yeah.
know, it's they the genius of the Kardashians, whether you like to admit it or not, is whether accidentally or intentionally, they managed to make their name a brand and a synonym for success of some sort. You
do.
know.
All started out as a sex tape, boys.
Yep.
Don't forget it.
And don't get me wrong, they were fairly successful before that. I don't think Kim Kardashian would have ever been homeless. You know, I just think she would have more likely been hitched to a rich dude and forgotten to the annals of history, like tons of other women that tried to do what she did.
You got to
But
see that OJ. They're doing that OJ series.
yeah,
Apparently, there's a bit in that new made-for-TV movie where OJ's about to off himself, and Robert Kardashian's like, "No, not in Kimmy's room."
oh my,
Jesus.
oh my
No,
God.
you guys gotta watch.
Uh,
Google it, man.
God,
I know
yeah.
Alan's already typing over there.
I might look at the scene, but I'm not watching that damn show. I refuse.
Yeah.
I
Not in
refuse.
Kimmy's room. And
But
then
here's my issue, and I think more or less that's the issue everybody has with the Kardashians at the end of the day. You know, to one extent or another, is that when pushed about it, she wants to be treated like a legitimate business person. That is, you know, I'm just a business. I'm not a sex tape or anything. It's like, look, I'm perfectly happy with your success, but don't pretend you didn't come from kind of a sordid past. Your success is built on the backbone of a pretty socially considered bad thing, you know?
so
Sex tape is not something to be
you're
praised.
equating her to kind of like saying she's basically a Kennedy, right?
Well, yeah, more or less. Well,
You know, that's where the
more
Kennedys
so,
came from.
more so than a Kennedy. Yeah. Well, I have a
Right.
general idea. I'm not equating what the Kennedys do. I personally think what she did. Actually, you can make an argument that the Kennedys were a little worse.
Well, in Kim's defense, she never drowned a hooker in a car.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I was just thinking about it. I was like,
No,
on second thought, you
allegedly.
should actually.
Allegedly.
never allegedly didn't even allegedly do it, let alone do it.
I would have no problem with this whole thing if
I was
Kim
just referring.
Kardashian in
I was
constant
referring
interviews
to.
wasn't pretending like she didn't come from a sex tape. If she was just like, yeah, this is what I did in my past, but this is who I am now, I'd be good with it. But she always tried to, whenever they pushed her, for example, when she had that app that came out, the Kardashian game,
Yeah,
the thing
fucking great.
immediately was at a value of like $5 million, like had a profit of $5 million, of which she took I think 4 million or 3 million. And people asked her like, "Hey, you're just putting your name to it. You're not a programmer or anything. In fact, you had nothing to do with this whole thing except sign something allowing your name to be used. What makes you think you deserve $3 million?"
Because it probably wouldn't have made 1 million if she didn't put her
It
name
wouldn't have
on it.
made a dollar, dude. It wouldn't have made a dollar.
I don't know if it wouldn't have made $1. It was
Oh
there are
man,
plenty of
there's
pay to play games out there that
yeah,
are pretty addictive.
and none of them are worth it. You know, you look at that thing now, man. Like right now, I'm wanting to say, if I had to throw a number out there, I'd say $100 million. $100 in that. They said something to the fact of 33,000 man hours logged into that app. Something ridiculous.
Holy
Something
shit.
Yes.
God
So it's
damn.
yeah. So think again, man. No, it's because she brings something to the table, man. Like it or not, it's not just her name. People respect her opinion as when it, and I don't personally, I don't, but I understand. I mean, I'd be a fool to not understand why she's successful. she brings something to the table, and there's a reason people are playing that fucking game. They want to learn how to dress. That's basically what the app shows women how to dress, how to build outfits and shit. You think that $100 million wouldn't have been spent if people didn't value her opinion, sex
sure.
tape or not? No. So
For sure.
yeah, she's.
I mean, however you make it to the mountaintop, you're still there.
You know,
So-
they climbed up it. Yeah.
Here's another thing, though. You know, her first big break into being famous was that sex tape, which I would like to say, well done. That was well done. Okay?
I think that's underrated art.
I knew
Yeah.
it was coming. That's what she said.
Well done. Not that I've seen it.
Yeah.
I mean,
But,
Pamela Anderson did the same thing, and it did the exact opposite thing to her career. So.
And I'll tell you what, Pam Anderson's sex tape in comparison, garbage. Okay? But
Not that you saw.
But here's the thing: a lot of fucking women have had sex tapes come out. Even modern. Okay,
Right.
Paris Hilton had a sex tape come out. She isn't fucking making money like Kim Kardashian is.
Yeah.
So even if her, it wasn't a business decision really on that extent, she really fucking profited off. I mean, she learned how to use that to her benefit in a way almost nobody has otherwise.
I think you could make that case that there's not really only other person I've seen that's basically branded their own name like that would be Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a stroke of brilliance to sell your name. I mean, it's the true definition of sellout.
And really,
It really
she ended up making her whole family with
Right.
some level of that fame.
Yep.
Everybody who
Like her.
wanted a piece of it, they're not just having to come to her for money. They're making their own money now. They're all
Yeah.
famous in their own right.
Like
You know?
her or not, respect her or not, you're a fool if you don't look, study, and understand what she's done, how she's doing it.
Yeah.
True.
So,
But at what price, though? Jesus.
I mean, that's a lot of money she got paid for it. That's one.
yeah. Well, those
Was
those
it? I
actresses-
think at the end of, I really just hope it's worth it to the person, because whenever I see that, I just like I look at like a Jaden Smith, and Jaden Smith, we could argue came from exactly. We could argue came from a better environment with better stock. We could argue that. We don't know for sure. We don't know what actually
What happens
those
when
doors.
milk gets left out of the fridge?
Exactly. That's. Can't believe you just equated the Jaden Smith to milk, but that's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it made sense. I know it actually made sense. That's the sadder part. But I feel like for me, when I see that, I think it's more on a personal and moral level. Now, granted, we never know. We never know. Like Trump's kids don't seem like they're as ridiculous as Trump. If you've ever seen a Trump kid interview, they seem.
They're pretty straight.
And
Kids.
and here's the thing too, that I think people like Trump's, and I mean, as ridiculous as Trump gets when he's talking, a lot of rich people are just as fucking ridiculous. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
old money,
Marks.
people who've been rich for 5, 6, 7, 8 generations.
Out of touch.
They are just as fucking ridiculous and as stupid as Jaden Smith, but the family has taught them how to keep that shit hidden from public
In
eye.
check. All right.
Okay,
Well,
like I remember reading an interview with one of Warren Buffett's, like his granddaughter or something, and the interview was trying to paint him in a terrible light. What a horrible grandfather he is. But a huge thing that he had with his family is don't go out, don't act stupid in the public eye, and don't just glorify yourself because you're freaking part of this family.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons he got pissed at her is she went out and started doing these interviews. And so he pretty much cut her off. Okay, if you're going to act like an idiot and throw yourself in the public eye, then that's it. I'm not going to freaking, And so it was, she's a poor, starving student while her, grandfather's one of the richest people in the world. Number one, I don't feel bad for you if your fucking family member is rich and you're fucked, okay? They have no responsibility to make sure you stay. Like you hear, like one of Obama's, like his uncle or something like that, was living in the streets, and people are trying. Look how horrible Obama is. You know what? I don't know their relationship. Maybe that dude is a terrible fucking guy. I got a whole list of family members that I won't give a fucking dime to. No matter if I'm the richest person in the world, they will not get a dime out of me. Okay? And even if they aren't bad, that's their choice at the end of it, So Warren Buffett cutting her off for breaking the family code, which is don't go out and act an ass, don't go out and throw yourself in the public eye, don't glorify yourself with the fucking Buffett name. She broke it, he cut her off. Well, that's a big thing of how he manages. I mean, have you guys ever heard of one of Warren Buffett's family members going out and fucking up?
I didn't even know he had family members, man. They stay fucking low key.
Oh,
exactly.
I know, but they're really good.
You don't hear about them getting DUIs. You don't hear about them in rehab. You don't hear shit about it.
Okay, you want to keep your bills paid? Don't fuck up.
Exactly. Okay. That's not a big thing to ask,
Well, sometimes it is.
But these people who come from nothing, and while I love a from nothing to fucking riches thing, I think these people have just as hard of a time as rich people. They just don't know how to keep themselves out of the public eye.
True.
That's why you see idiots like Lindsay Lohan fucking up, Britney Spears fucking up. They just got this money dumped on them when they're too young to really understand it, and they blow the fuck up. When you hear about celebrities who get money when they're older, like what's his name? Samuel L. Jackson. He was acting for a while. He didn't really get big until he was like in his mid-30s, if I'm right.
Right.
When do you ever hear Samuel L. Jackson in the news?
I see him. Yeah, he's in Cambodia right now.
Who's that? Still there?
I have to switch gear. Yeah, I'm here, man. I have to switch gear.
Who's that band you're always talking about? Fucking Jonathan Esther. The band who none of them got famous till they were like in their mid-30s.
Yeah. I mean,
who's that band? I'm asking you a question.
The band that didn't get famous until they're I know Disturbed is one of those bands.
Yeah. Have you heard about them going out and fucking up?
Oh, no. They value that money.
So, and Will Smith and Jada, other than sometimes being a little silly, like this whole thing Jada came out with, which fucking dark-skinned Aunt Viv came down on her ass, you don't really hear about them fucking up. But their kids are. That's because these kids just got flooded with this money, and they don't really have the family history of keeping that shit in check,
Another thing, I don't know if we can actually stand here or sit here and say that we don't hear about them fucking up. I think we hope they aren't fucking up. There are a lot of these guys that are fucked up and were just either A, way too in the infancy of the internet that they were able to get away with it, or B, just, they had great publicists. Like Kanye's latest song where he's talking about, he had to pay his cousin $250,000 to get back a computer on which there was him having sex on it. Which, we were all young, man. I know everybody here. I don't know about you, Mr. Loyal, but I know everybody here should have at least one picture or one video from their past that they deleted a long time ago, that if they had people around them that could use them and abuse them and saw something like that, it would make a tempting target. We were all young at one point.
Political office, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we were all young at one point. So I just think, what I will agree with is I think people that come into success a lot later learn to approach certain facets of success more carefully and to listen to their PR manager. Because I think they know deep down inside, this guy's success is tied to me. So if he's giving me advice, it's advice for us to make the most amount of money from, each other.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're like a Justin Bieber or something, you're still kind of young enough to no, fuck my PR guy. I want to go through a phase. I want to piss in a bucket, or I want to stand on a balcony and spit on fans because, I feel it. Or race Ferraris down the street because, I'm that boss right now. I was like, nah, take a minute. You'll be old someday and you're not going to want these things on your back, on your resume.
Yeah, well, this is saying that there isn't a whole bunch of shit Justin Bieber's done that his publicist hasn't been able to cover up.
Yeah.
That they haven't fucking...
Kudos to that guy. Kudos to that guy.
It's kind of like I read and it was a comedy article, but it was talking about it was talking about this is how quiet it is when I muted this asshole. What the fuck is he doing? Running down a wind tunnel?
Well, I remember he's driving and he's got that radio low.
I
So
mean, he's fucking stupid. But once he figures out how to unmute himself, it'll take him a half hour at least. We'll probably be done with the show. Anyways, well, what the hell was I saying now? I was so pissed off I couldn't even remember what the fuck I was saying.
you were saying that when it comes to damn it, because I finished off the whole tangent about oh dang it, you got me losing track too.
Fuck this goddamn show.
Just say that.
But my thing is I think what happens is they end up getting away with so much shit that they get the feeling I can get away with so much shit.
Yeah.
And that's when they get hooked up. You know what I mean? I mean, we talk about the meltdown of Britney Spears. You know, it was pretty quiet in the Spears world for a while. There was no, I mean, people thought she was a virgin until she was, what, 19?
Yep.
Like,
Then
while
discovered
was publicly proclaiming to fucking this bitch?
Yeah. And that, I mean, I think we can pretty much put any girl that went through the Disney roster as I don't know one girl that went through the Disney roster that didn't go through a phase of something, and all of them cited sex on the Disney set as an issue.
Yeah, and,
which wouldn't be surprising.
Hey, what I've seen some of, you know, that's the. I'm usually not even when I was younger. Okay, when I was like 17, I talked to a girl and it turned out she was 16. I was like, this dumb bitch, you know. I've always been interested in older women. You know, my wife was like 4 months younger than me, and she's probably the young, compared to my age, the youngest woman I've ever really dated. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But you watch that Disney Channel sometimes, you're like, this bitch is gonna be 18 when?
Yeah.
You know, like some of these women are ridiculous. Like there's one, and I think she's over 18 now. Victoria Justice.
Ah, yes.
Holy shit.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And I mean, I think she didn't really, you know, my kids were too young for Disney Channel when she was famous, so I didn't really know about her. In case people don't know, I'm sure just about everybody knows. But I don't think I really knew about her until she was over 18. But even then, people were posting pictures of her younger, and I was like, God damn, they can feel like a pedophile here right fucking now. So I could see that shit happen on the Disney Channel. Those are some beautiful fucking people that get on there.
Yeah. I mean, that's Disney, man. They go hunting for these kids. They want the most beautifulest and the cutest, except for there's one show where they got this chunky little Mexican girl, which I'm all right with, but I see what she is. She's the comic relief, even though they sneak her into romances occasionally, which I thought was pretty cool for a company that wants only pretty people. That was humbling on their part. But I know we're starting this whole thing off with the Kim Kardashian issue, but I want to go off on a slight tangent here that this comes back again to something that I think we've talked about in the past. By the way, am I hearing myself?
Yeah.
Have you never watched that show?
Oh, wait, let him finish talking, man. Jesus Christ.
This son of a bitch. It sounds like he's trying to start a dying car.
Yeah, he is, but you should have let him at least finish his statement. But
see, and just so the rest of you know, America, a big part of the reason why I'm hating on fucking White Knight here is he's got a picture, which I hid from your guys' eyes so you can see it, of his ugly-ass kid that I have to see every time he makes a sound.
You want to talk about ugly? Have you seen... Never mind, I'm just not... Because my wife, she's getting on to me. Jesus Christ.
He's getting in a tivy.
Don't even get me started, man. You're going to give me in trouble. Talk about ugly kids.
I was gonna say...
It's just a direct descendant of you, dog.
I think your kid's fine, man.
Yeah.
What is going on behind you?
There is like a starting car in the background.
Okay, let me get you a video here. Hold on.
Oh,
Jesus.
Right here. This thing right here. They cannot. You mean go help them? No, I'm getting in the fucking car. Look, this car.
We
this
can't
badass car.
You're gonna have to.
This is what you should have. Hold on,
No,
let me flip it.
Take a picture of that and post it on the thing because we can't see it right now.
Hold on, buddy.
Oh, we
How do
see
you
it.
do that? Okay,
There we
boom.
go. There
There
we
you go. Yeah. You see, I was trying to tell old boy he needs to get one of these. You know, with the
go. I know,
20s,
man.
with the 20s.
It's just,
You know,
I
but
think you're the only white person I know that drives that. So.
this is a valid. This is what my wife says. I'm cutting you back off. Okay. All right.
All right, but I was gonna say I wanted to go on a slight
Sorry, guys.
tangent based on this conversation about people that get successful and lose it. I mean, we've been talking about people that got more successful later on, but there's also a batch of people that got successful, you know, 20s to later on that slowly lost it over time. Guys like Eddie Griffin, Richard Pryor, Jesus Christ, George Carlin to some extent. But they're these core group of people that every time they've gotten successful, it didn't come without a price to them, either personally or emotionally. So I feel like there is also something to the madness that is Hollywood that kind of builds these people almost to be destroyed. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson seems like a strong-willed person to begin with. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would go into a kind of thing like this and get into an issue. But a guy like Richard Pryor, if we're going to look at the past, or if you want to go more modern, let's say, trying to think of someone that got in later and then got in some issues.
You tell me, because I was trying to think of that too, And,
yeah, I know. There's a few. I just can't come up with them. I'll figure it out, and if I figure it out, I'll bring it up later on the show. But I'm sure there are examples of more modern ones. But the best one I can think of is a guy like Richard Pryor, who was funny young, but didn't really hit his stride till he was almost hitting his late 20s, which is old enough to kind of have an idea of what things are and how things are going. And that guy set himself on fire at one point in time, and it became a pure part of his comedy. I feel like, Eddie Murphy has spoken of this. Eddie Griffin has spoken on this. I feel like there's an element of success. Oh, Chris Farley, there's another guy who was hilarious on screen, but now after his death, people talk about him and they go, "Oh, he was mad behind the scenes. He was slowly losing the rails." Success has to have some effect that
let's
don't
go
know
through
about.
this list of celebrities who got famous later in life, okay?
Yeah.
And let's see if you can remember, if you guys can think of them getting in stupid shit like Lindsay Lohan level or something like that.
I wouldn't say on that level, but
Or
Yeah,
any
there's not a
kind
whole
one,
lot of
okay?
people that are going to get on
Yeah,
the low
that-
end level.
that's
That's still breathing.
Jeremy Renner, he's that guy, that new actor for Bourne Legacy.
yeah,
Any trouble with him?
And Avengers.
not that I know of.
How did you leave him out of fucking Avengers, dude?
Jesus. Fuck that guy.
How the
That
fuck?
movie pissed me off.
Eric.
You know what pissed me off about that stupid movie? Is having to see his stupid ass family, and they didn't even get kidnapped or die. It wasted my fucking
Yeah, that was
life.
pretty messed up, wasn't it? I was expecting Megatron to come through.
I love that you guys are sitting there going like, "Why didn't they die?"
Don't waste my time, man. I don't want to see his stupid little house in the fucking prairie.
Man, when North Korea talks about hating America, these are the moments.
This is the moments.
These are the moments. Just like,
Like
are you
sounds
kidding
through
me?
the
You took me
hourglass.
through that whole emotional journey and you let him fucking live?
Here's another one. Jenna Fisher.
Who the fuck
Oh,
is that?
wait.
She's the girl from The Office.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah. Her and that dude actually had a thing going. Pam.
Yeah,
Pam from The Office. Yeah.
Yeah, Jenna Fisher. No, not
She's
that I know.
real. You can tell by her acting. She's real.
Tell you what, I would
She's
have taken her
authentic.
for a ride myself.
Mm.
Jane Lynch. Man, she didn't really get famous till she's 43.
Yeah.
That's a late fucking appearance. Tina Fey. Just stop me when you see somebody who's gotten in serious shit, okay?
I don't know if it's gonna be.
Alan Rickman.
Actually, I think Alan Rickman got in something. I don't know if Tina Fey got in something, but I think Alan Rickman's thing wasn't on
Christoph Waltz.
Kardashian level.
He's from Inglourious Basterds. I
No,
like that guy.
no, that's an amazing guy. No, nothing that I know of.
Connie Britton.
All right, I think you made the point.
I mean, we could keep
Yeah.
Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford. I think he hit the news because he was like literally rescuing. Like he took his helicopter out and was like rescuing people and shit.
Well, not just that. He also took his helicopter out and was like crashing it at 80 years old or some shit. Guy's a savage.
Sylvester Stallone. I mean, he's been around forever. I mean, he's been in his 60s now. He started when he was 30.
Yeah.
You guys remember any serious shit he got into?
See, but I feel okay. That's the thing. I
This is
feel
what I
like
was
a guy
trying to
like
get to.
Stallone has dirt, but
Dude.
they did a great job PRing it up, and that
There you go.
Stallone doesn't look like a guy who didn't get in trouble, man.
So
That's what I'm
this,
saying.
There's this TV show, man. I'm trying to tell you guys. This is the whole answer to your question. Fucking Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Okay,
Yeah.
He's got this fucking show. It's called Ballers.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, I watched it.
That's
It's actually okay
That's
for
the
football.
fucking answer to all your questions, man. You got guys like him cleaning up the fucking dirt, so we don't read about it, we don't see about it. That's what's happening.
Yeah, but I'm sure these people who are getting in trouble have these same people.
Yeah.
It's just they still get out there.
To listen.
You know, I had no idea Samuel L. Jackson didn't start till he was 45. I thought he was like in his 30s.
He's from Chattanooga. Yeah, he's from Chattanooga.
I mean, seriously, I haven't seen a single person. Who's this big old thing? Get out
Well, you're
of
not going to hit it big.
Hey.
You're not going to hit it big at 40 if you're a fuck up.
here.
You know,
Yeah.
you got to do everything right. You got to do everything right
Dustin Hoffman
all
got
the
him some
time,
shit, didn't he?
and just catch a break. But
Yeah,
you're
but
not
that
gonna
was way
catch a
back
break.
when.
Yeah, you're not going to catch a break when you're constantly fucking up. Just, I mean,
Yeah.
in theory, it's not like it would never happen.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I think that's a bit. I think when right now, I think if you're in your teens or even early 20s and you get rich, you don't know enough about yourself to handle that. Okay? You just aren't fully developed as a person yet.
Well, that's
You
the
know?
best thing that the NFL did. You know, if I was going to look at anything, I would be looking at how the NFL used.
Did we lose him?
God, I hope so. What he's probably talking about is well, hopefully he could hear me so he can see if I'm on the right track. But the NFL is having a problem for a while where NFL players would, play through their prime. We get good 5-10 years out of them.
Problems the
Yeah.
players. What happens now? Because you used to you come out and next thing you know, you've got $1 million contracts. It's pretty easy to get in trouble. Kids has made them take classes, made them put the right people around them, and you don't see that nearly as much. Man, it used to be like an epidemic. And it still is. Don't get me wrong, but they've really, really changed it for the better. And it's just about I see what you. It's almost like the Screen Actors Guild or whoever's over the music people, and they need to say, you know what, if you're young and you hit X, call it a tax, call it whatever you want to call it. But if you hit X amount of whatever, then certain things need to happen. You can call it regulation, whatever you want. And it's protection for these kids. I mean, who wouldn't agree to that?
Yeah, well,
Some asshole.
It was embarrassing for the whole NFL for a while because you'd have this superstar player, and then they would, retire. Man, he was a hero. Have this big retirement. Like Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning just had a big retirement ceremony, right?
Yeah.
Well, imagine that. A bunch of people think Peyton Manning's just a fucking hero, right? And I don't disagree. The dude's done some incredible fucking things. Imagine 4 or 5 years from now, here's your hero. He just retired. Man, good one. You played the game. You fucking changed the game. Go on.
Probably gonna lose.
And then the fucker's broke and living on a goddamn street.
Yep.
That's embarrassing for the NFL. So, like he was saying, they did a lot of that stuff. They also make you, if you look in their contracts, you have to put so much money away into a post-NFL retirement. So you will always have money coming in after you're out,
Yeah.
So I think that's a great thing that they did for those guys because, it was a disgrace for them. It was an embarrassment for them, for the NFL, not only just the players, for this shit to be happening to these guys.
Well, it's actually good that you brought up sports.
That's
Jesus, yeah, I heard that. That just drawled off, man.
Jesus.
I don't
Really,
know.
he's not breaking up. That's actually his real voice. His fucking connection is so bad, I can't even mute him. There we go.
But so here's what I was gonna say. It's actually a good thing that we brought up sports, because have you watched the documentary No No on Netflix?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, that fantastic documentary about baseball players in the 60s and 70s. And one of the biggest things that came through with that documentary is that those guys were on a kaleidoscope of drugs. You know,
Oh, yeah.
the whole documentary is actually uh, a setup for a story about one game where the main character pitched. Main character, as if he's not real. He was real. He died. But the guy pitched a game high on LSD, and it was a no-hitter. You
Yeah.
know? So these guys, in all these branches of success, film, music, whatever, let's just start off by saying, because we raise them as heroes, they get all the pleasures of the flesh that you can imagine. They get the random people. Like, one of the jokes I heard a long time ago about Tiger Woods was, you people are mad at Tiger Woods that he slept with one woman. Why aren't you guys happy that he turned down the millions of others that must have tried?
Yeah.
Because he clearly had a type, and he turned down so many others just to sleep with these ones, and he was pretty damn conservative about it once he slept with her. Like, he kept it on the hush, still kept up pretenses, took care of his family. The boy did his thing while doing, like, we know from a bunch of like video vixens is what they're called, but they're the ladies that appear in music videos. uh what is it, Corinne Stefan had the book about how many athletes and rappers and musicians and actors she'd slept with, that while they were married.
Yeah.
This is not a one-way street. We put these people in these positions, and then, I mean, granted, it's still their choice to decide which route to go, but at the end of the day, when you raise someone to that level and then give them all these accolades and all of these amazing temptations, I'm kind of surprised at why we kind of turn on them. I don't know what it is about us that makes us really enjoy tearing these people down. Like a guy like Kanye. Kanye didn't just suddenly become, egomaniacal and crazy. He kind of was that about 5 years ago at the peak of his success. But now we're just like, he's worth nothing yet. I'm like, no, Kanye's still worth something. We knew what he was back then. Why are we acting completely different right now with all these celebrities, not just Kanye?
Well, I think he kind of leveled up on the stupid shit he was saying. Okay,
Yeah.
like if you come out and you say, "Man, I'm a great artist. I'm making yeah, okay, you're kind of egotistical. In your position, I understand. When you start saying shit like I'm the greatest artist in the world and I'm a genius and I'm the voice of my generation, now you're going crazy." I think what's his name? What's his name? Who's that guy who's pissing on that little girl?
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly. He said something about like he was the Malcolm X of this generation, or who was it? It was maybe Martin Luther King, or
Good shit to say.
I can't remember what he said, but he said something crazy like that, like a fucking social hero, somebody who risked life and limb to fucking change shit. And he's saying because he sings and dances, he's on the same level as this person. Yeah. That's another level of crazy. It's one thing being bold about what you do.
Proud about your art.
I'm great at what I do, It's another thing going, I'm the fucking greatest musician of my generation. Man, you're not even the greatest I'm the greatest musician of all time. You're not even the greatest musician right now, dude.
But
he makes great stuff. I listen to his shit all the time, But that's taking it to another level of crazy, and it's being disrespectful to the people who came before him and paved the way for him. But you'll find very few athletes. Like, I mean, Peyton Manning, incredible athlete. Has he ever come out and said, "Man, I'm the greatest quarterback that ever fucking came to the NFL"?
Oh, I'm sure his PR management is very careful about helping him with that.
He respects the other people that came through him, And he respects really the other players. He's not even going to go out and say, "Yeah, this fucking quarterback's garbage." That's kind of a different story. Being proud of your work and being, And Kanye West makes great music, okay? He makes fucking music that people want to listen to, that sells a whole lot of shit.
Yeah.
But when you come out and take it to another level that you're a genius, you're the greatest musician ever, you're the fucking voice of this generation, now you're starting to look like a fucking idiot.
Well, but then again, look at what that arrogance and brass has given him. I mean, with him, in his case, and I think in a lot of cases like that, I think people always fail to look at the context too. This is a guy in an industry where being brash, being arrogant is kind of the easiest and fastest track to success in a notoriously fickle and tricky industry,
Really
right?
good point. That's a
So
really good point. Yeah.
I would say, like, in a rock and roll and stuff like that, you don't need to do that, because if you're Steve Vai has never said he's one of the greatest of all time. He doesn't have to. He has a quantifiable guitar skill that you can see. For people who don't know who Steve Vai is, he's like the lead guitarist of Dream Theater, like one of the top 10 like greatest guitarist on earth. It doesn't matter what you want done on a guitar, he can do it in amazing ways. Tosin Abasi, that's another name that does that. Al Di Meola, that's another name that does that. These are all guys that have quantifiable skills, and you can go, this is the greatest at doing what he does. He doesn't necessarily have to be ego-driven. But in hip-hop, there's so many talented hip-hop artists. The guys that rise to the top are the guys that kind of are brash and arrogant. Lady Gaga's success is based on brash and arrogance. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't a downside. There's a comeuppance for that kind of behavior. If you do that, I think we talked about this with the Ronda Rousey. I talked about this with the Ronda Rousey thing on the Why Repent podcast with our good friend Slow Chemical. But there's a comeuppance for that. I feel, don't mistake me saying all this as me empathizing or feeling pity for that person when they're knocked down. You know, like Ronda Rousey, when she was at her highest, was talking about retiring undefeated, destroying the whole women's division. Nobody was better than her. And then she got beat. And then she came back and said something along the lines of, I thought about suicide. I felt no pity for that statement, because when you were on your high, you were the greatest ever.
Yeah.
Nobody, you know what? I love that. We come to see that show. We pay the money to see it. We want to see the streak go on forever. We want to see the success go on forever. We want to see you achieve these things you claim, because deep down inside, we know that's a unique thing to be able to pull that off. You know, what if this guy is a genius who happens to actually know how the world works? Because we don't really know how it works, and we're trying to figure it out, you know? So we root for these guys, but when they get ripped down, we're just as eager to go, see, you flew too close to the flames. Bitch, that's what you get. So I don't feel empathy, because they get success out of that and they get money out of that. So when the come down comes down, if you didn't for actions, dude. But I do feel like more people should put it in the proper context that a lot of these people are in an industry where there's a lot of faces, and to stand out in the crowd, you have to be loud.
And you know, that's kind of my problem with, and I can't really say modern UFC. It's always been a part of UFC, okay? But that stupid fucking arrogance is, I'm getting fucking sick of it, okay?
Yeah.
Like,
Especially
I'll
out
give
of
you
a
an
fighter.
example of heroic fighters. Anderson Silva, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember him ever coming out and going around, I could beat everybody's ass, I'm the fucking greatest fighter, blah, blah, blah.
No good fighter, no good fighter would ever fucking say that.
Yeah, Anderson
honestly.
Silva is actually the perfect example of the antithesis of that statement.
How about Dan Henderson?
Same thing. Antithesis of that statement.
Legendary
guys
fighter.
who are legendary fighters, but then you got guys like Tito Ortiz, who at his prime was an arrogant asshole, absolute arrogant dick. So I mean, you're right, and this is not, again, as I said, not an excuse for their behavior or empathy on their side. I just feel like it's one of those things you need to put the asterisks by, going, hey, but just so you know, this
is
made
what
them
gets
a
them here.
shit ton of money. You know,
Yeah, well, it's what
the
gets them
reason
where they're going.
Yeah, the reason you hear about them, like the reason I use Conor McGregor as an example, is he's really the purest example of that in the sport. This is a guy who in 2 years achieved what it took 10 years for Anderson to achieve, just because he was the loudest, most arrogant, most ridiculous voice of the room. Because marketing,
himself, you know?
yeah, marketing.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole the Kardashian thing again. You know, it's all about branding yourself. If you can master that, the roads go for you. But if you know, timid salesmen have skinny kids, you know.
So I think for me at the end of the day, is like I want these guys to have the brunt of the blame, but let's not act like we as the entertained crowd aren't complicit. We're showing up at the Coliseum to watch the massacre. You
Paying the
know,
money.
yeah. No matter how we feel at the end. I mean, even if a core portion of us are still saying this is demeaning, this is little, I'll never do it, a majority of us still shows up for the massacre. That has to say something about us as a society.
So I can't help but feel like we were supposed to be talking about Alan's art, his blog.
Yeah.
No,
Instead, we're talking about
we're coming to that. We're still on the Kardashians.
Innards.
but that's the power of the Kardashians, my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
It disappoints me though. Like I really miss the fighters who could go in, beat everybody's ass, and still be humble and even respectful of the people's asses they beat.
Horse racing.
And really, what's her name? Ronda Rousey was famous before she started pulling this bullshit where she was suddenly the most legendary fighter ever.
Yeah.
She was famous because she was winning and she was winning well. She was an incredible fighter. And for a good while, she was really humble. And she never really talked shit, you know? And I mean, she was not, I'm not saying she didn't talk shit as in she never really came out and said, you know, I'm capable of doing this. She didn't talk down about other fighters. She was, you know, pretty fucking respectful of everybody. And then and I think the change came when, who was that girl who supposedly made fun of her father committing suicide?
Yeah. That was like two fights before she
Beth
got beat up,
Correa.
or the one before.
And I read what she said, and it really sounded to me like Ronda was making bullshit about something that didn't really happen. You know, it could be taken as
to sell tickets was promoting what made it into a bigger thing.
Yeah.
It's all about selling those tickets. You can't help but say that Dana White doesn't want Ronda out there talking shit to sell more tickets.
Oh, I mean, Dana White, he eats all this up. He loves it. He said it several times. Whenever Conor McGregor fight is coming up, he's like, I'm over the moon, because we know we're gonna make as much money as we did before minimum. Yes.
Is he going to now though? Now that Conor McGregor took that ass whooping, and suddenly he's not the legendary,
not just
ready
Conor
for
McGregor,
everybody.
But his other White.
Yeah, and that's kind of my thing. If you're that type of fighter like Conor McGregor was, and I think Conor McGregor's an amazing fighter, and I really think he has a very unique training style and such. Okay.
Yeah.
But the bullshit he was selling just turned out to be total bullshit. Okay. He didn't just lose that fight by accident. He got beaten up in that fight. Not saying he didn't throw hands himself. Not saying that guy came away clean. That guy got his ass beat too.
Yeah,
I just wasn't shaking the guy with his shots.
I've been trying to remind people, like, okay, now granted, what's his name came down from 180 to 170, but Conor,
that doesn't matter.
Yeah, he went up 25 pounds. This is a guy who had to learn quick lessons about cardio. This is something Joe Rogan has said forever. The reason you pray for quick knockouts in the heavyweight division is that fourth and fifth round are not going to be pretty. That's why Cain Velasquez was such an amazing fighter. And this is going more into like MMA territory for people that aren't into
with you, man.
Yeah. But Cain Velasquez, the reason he was amazing is like he's over 200 pounds and his cardio is out of this world. Once you start pushing the 170, 180, if you're not training for a 5-round fight, by round 2, you've
suck and win.
You've been wrestling and grappling for 10 minutes. I mean, for people that don't understand,
5-minute wrestling.
Find one of your friends that is your size.
Yeah, good luck.
Set up 5 minutes and just grapple with them without knowing what you're doing. Just grapple and just imagine that out 5 more times.
You don't even have to do that. If your gym has a punching bag,
just
fill your hands up and hit it solidly for 5 minutes straight, and see if your hands don't start dropping.
Yeah. Oh, it's intense. It's intense. So it's.
I did one of those Badman contests when I was in college. Me and another guy from UTC. He was much better than me, but we did that shit. We were all on the news. They're like, yeah, these two colors. It's the Badman call back then. This was right before UFC. You know, it used to be the old barroom brawlers. They'd have it at the arenas. You know, you'd have 50 guys jump. You know, it out 25 matches the first night, and then the second night you were fighting 3 and 4 times though. It was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where that it used to be. You could grapple, and then it really went into boxing. You couldn't use your feet.
Yeah.
Much fun. It was much more fun to use your feet, but people were getting fucked up.
Oh yeah. I've been to a taekwondo. I have a friend who was trying for the Olympic Games. I got to watch a taekwondo tournament, and even with the padding, dudes would get lit up all the time and go down. But actually,
it's fucking brutal.
Here's the antithesis to what you were talking about again. The second time I used that word, I don't know why. Joe Frazier. Do we all know that name?
Yeah.
So what do you know about Joe Frazier, Alone in the Dark, off the top of your head, without?
He's the one that took fucking Tyson down.
Yeah, he's the guy who took Tyson down. Do you know anything else about Joe Frazier?
I mean, he had some funny quotes. I can't remember them offhand, but I think I remember him saying something like, a reporter asked him, "How do you win fights?" And he said something along the lines of, "I go in there, I knock the motherfucker out." What do you want from me?
That's classic. But Joe Frazier is the perfect example of the kind of fighter you missed. Joe Frazier was a humble Christian man. I mean, Christian in the extent of what it was back in the 70s, which was, I only cheat with one woman every month type shit. But
it's hard to keep it down like that. I got respect.
So he was like a humble Christian man who worked very hard, didn't believe in trash talking, and didn't believe in bucking the establishment. So he was getting ripped off and dealing with that whole segregation thing. Muhammad Ali walked into the room just kind of dealing with all that stuff head on, being aggressive, being violent, and that's what promoted. So even though in boxing circles Joe Frazier is respected and loved, most of the known world doesn't know Joe Frazier. Most people know who Muhammad Ali is, but you don't know Joe Frazier. That's the disadvantage of doing the right thing. If you do the right thing, we don't need to look. There is nothing for us to look because this is what is expected of you. We look for the spectacle.
Kasich. John fucking Kasich. What you've described there is exactly John Kasich in this election.
What? Oh yeah.
That's exactly
what's the name?
You've totally ushered that conversation in by that right there.
One other reason though why people might remember Muhammad Ali a little more is he did have a better fighting record. He had quite a bit more fights.
True. No, but I'm saying, of course, Muhammad Ali, his legend doesn't grow without him being successful. Conor didn't become as big as he did, and Ronda didn't become as big as they were, and Tyson didn't become as big as they were without the success. The brashness made it much more so. But I'm giving you Joe Frazier as an example of just as successful a fighter. People don't realize that Joe Frazier was also an amazing fighter. He didn't have the record of Ali, but he was also a top-level fighter up there. And he doesn't get nowhere as close to the notoriety or fame of it.
Yeah, but do you think that's because of Muhammad Ali, coming in being brash, or Muhammad Ali was a big part of a big social movement too?
Yeah, very much. He was very involved. When everybody was, I think Joe Frazier actually went to war when the draft happened, and Muhammad Ali didn't. I don't know if it's Joe Frazier, but I know one of his fighters went to war while Muhammad Ali did not. Yeah. And that was a big thing. And back then, people forget, white people hated Muhammad Ali for this. He was anti-establishment. He was they're mad at Beyonce right now. That dude was walking around with the Nation of Islam. Back when Black Panthers was a legit thing on the streets. So
I don't think it was Joe Frazier. I'm not seeing that. But
who did what?
Wait, hold on. George scored.
Joe Frazier is definitely the one who stopped his undefeated streak, and he was quite successful.
I'm saying he didn't go to Vietnam. I don't see.
Yeah. All right, it wasn't Joe Frazier then. There was another one. I know there's another, and it was a big deal.
Joe Frazier was from Philly, if I'm not mistaken. Joe Frazier was from Philly.
Was it George Foreman? I don't think it's George Foreman either. But anyway, I'm drifting from the point. The point I'm making is we all agree.
Africa.
And I'm repeating the point too. We all agree that yes, this arrogance is unnecessary. But I'm saying when you say something like I miss in the past when people were just successful for being successful, I think I'm leaning more towards
They never were.
where I don't know how successful they are. There's some
No.
shady stories about guys like what's his name, the crooner Vegas. Everybody loved him. Rat Pack.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, there's some stories about Sinatra in the back room. I mean, Sinatra got love and respect, but there's some stories that nobody ever talks about, like the women in Sinatra's life and some of the shit Sinatra was doing with them. You know?
I mean,
They talked
who
about it.
hasn't
Just
who hasn't treated a woman like shit? Give me a break, especially back in those days, man. You know,
True,
women. That's why it cracks me up whenever I hear a woman talk about, man, nowadays sucks. Bitch, you want to go back? Like, I mean, I could pass as a white man. I'll go back, you know, but I don't know if you want to. You
They
know?
don't know. They don't know. I could
Dude.
slap someone only once. What was it? Sean Connery? Yes, I think if she's behaving a little aggressively,
Yeah, give her a little.
pop her. You don't hurt her. You just pop her a little bit. The look on that interviewer's face was just like, "You're doubling down, huh? Wow."
Yeah. And really, I mean, another thing about Conor McGregor, it's a great fighter, but you know he's had 3 losses in his career, and his career hasn't been incredibly long.
Yeah.
so 19-3, something like that.
Yeah, 19-3.
I think, but it's not just that his career hasn't been long. It has more to do with the way he dispatched the people in his career. There are certain elite fighters, guys like Anderson Silva, where legitimately, if you're not paying attention for a second, you get knocked out. For
Yeah.
people that don't watch fighting, if you want to get a clear example of that, look up Anderson Silva's last fight with Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen literally looked down at the mat for a second, 1 second, to point something at the referee, looked up and was unconscious.
Yeah.
1 second.
He looked straight up.
That's an ability. But like Nate Diaz when he beat Conor McGregor, it's something when you can literally say, "Hi, I knock people out for a living." That's what I do. I have several accolades on my resume to show you I do this. Or like Nate Diaz, "Hi, I'm a human strangler. You give me anybody within fairly my weight, and I assure you I can strangle them."
Yeah, if you have a neck, you got a weakness.
You're susceptible,
Don't
exactly.
come in this ring with your neck, otherwise the thing's fucked.
It was a real high moment for me when I realized that there are people on planet Earth that literally that's all they do. That's all they do for a living. They can just go, "Listen, for a living, I just strangle people."
Yeah.
In fact, you could pay me and I will show you all the ways I strangle people by strangling
And
you.
I used to live in Boston. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's cold out there. You got to cuddle a lot. That's where my strangling skills came from.
I'm on vacation. I'm retired.
Jesus. Wait, I don't think
But
we can get to another topic. Fuck that other topic.
Yeah, we're not. We'll save it for another time. But this is the ultimate question then. We've gone through all this with the Kardashians and MMA and movies and artists. What's the solution? What do you think? Is there a solution if there's one to be had? And what's the solution?
What's the problem?
And that's kind of another good question. That's actually a good point. I think the problem is we want a better society, but the people that we success.
Do we really want a better society?
Problem.
Because we've got fucking Donald Trump running for president.
Are you trying to complain about that?
No, I'm just saying, do we really want better?
I think that's a side effect of just
glutton for punishment.
I just think it's a side effect of people being desperate. You know, Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump, same coin, different sides. It's a side effect of just people realizing that, hey, we have no control over anything and not knowing what to do about it.
We want to give up everything.
Well, no. You just get the maddest person in the room who speaks the loudest because he seems the most confident. You know, the same way Kardashians' name has value.
Right.
You know, it's just, hey, they're loud. They seem confident in a world where we're all worried about our image and whatnot. Here's a chick who looks absolutely gorgeous, and I agree with you, Alone in the Dark. I've always had an issue when people try to say stuff like that. Bitch ain't even good looking. I'm like, shut the fuck up right there. You're a damn liar.
People are like, her ass is fake. I give a shit.
It
The
doesn't
only
matter
people
what
that
your
say that
ethnicity is or what
there,
ethnicity you like.
there
That
used
girl
to
is
be a
absolutely
certain
gorgeous.
there used to be a certain populace uh, pre Bill Clinton administration that would go around and say, okay, we need to not have this on the airwaves, and we need to, and that became known as censorship. And then the political correctness basically took censorship and moved it all the way to the side, where it's actually a faux pas to even think of anything in the light of censorship. If you're talking about censorship, if you're trying to restrict anybody's free speech, anybody's anything, then you're a piece of shit. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's really anybody that had any values, any morals, that said, hey, maybe we shouldn't be showing this to all of our kids. You're actually the piece of shit for saying that. So, there's never going to be a scenario anymore. We're past the point of no return. There's not going to be a what.
Now here's my thing, man. As he's
Yeah, yeah.
struggling
He's
to.
doing it again. You're straggling again.
Here's my thing. Okay, in my opinion, I, as a person,
that needs a solution. That's kind of where I'm
come on, mute. Come on, mute, Trigger.
coming
Why
from.
won't this thing?
We could have a solution, but nobody's.
Thank God. Okay. Now.
Just shut up, man. Just shut up.
God damn
You
it.
can't do it.
Even the mute wasn't cooperating. Fight the power. Fight the
Here's
power.
the thing, and I'm going to tell this. This will be my parting shot to all of America, okay? To all of the world. I don't give a shit about your kid, okay? I'm tired of this fucking bullshit where we need to tailor the country and the world for kids.
Yeah.
No, that's what they have parents for. That's what they have guardians for. If there's a movie coming out, if it's got a rating for a reason. If you don't want your kid to go see the fucking movie, don't take them. Don't give them
Deadpool
money.
Parents. That
Man,
goes up to
I'm
you.
tired of all these women on freaking TV teaching my daughters to dress sexy. Don't have her watch that shit, you stupid bitch. Don't take her out and buy her thongs and bikinis and shit like that. You're her parent. Well, she makes her own money. My mom used that excuse one time when my sister was acting like it. Okay, you fucking idiot. She's still under 18. Whatever money she makes is yours. That doesn't matter. You're her fucking guardian. Don't let her just go out and spend this money as she wants. So no, I'm not about to change anything I do in my life for your stupid fucking kids. That's your job. If you don't want them to see this shit, don't let them see it. If you don't want them to see this TV show, this girl dressed like a freaking hooker, don't let them watch the TV show. That's the answer, people. It's not my job to care about your kids. I got my kids. I barely care about them. Don't fucking make me care about your goddamn kids, okay? And that's my goddamn party shot. You guys,
I like it.
Real quick. So I noticed like the whole show we've kind of been talking about man shit, but that's not the only demographic. Women are guilty of this shit too. It's not men out there watching, the It's not men out there watching the Kardashian show. Let's be honest. The biggest demo is women. Or here's another example. Have you guys heard about Jeremy Meeks, the hot mug shot guy?
Yeah. We talked about that one time.
There you go. We talked about that a while ago. This guy's coming out of jail now. He's about to start a modeling career. Like, it's official. It's not just the guys doing this. It's both sides of this fence, And
I'll tell you what.
Arrogance and appealing and being attracted to, like, the worst for some reason.
I am totally advised of how dumb men are, especially how dumb they get around with their simplicity around, okay?
Oh, for sure.
But women went a long ways to proving they are just as stupid, if not worse. Okay, that Jeremy Meeks guy is a great example. Other example, these fucking Twilight movies. You have grown-ass women, adults, mothers, just making all these sexual comments and throwing themselves at these teenage boys. Could you fucking imagine if a guy did that? If you had Moms for Disney Channel show, I don't know these channel shows. Okay, Witches of Waverly, I don't know. Okay. Anyways, well, I love you, fucking silly girl. Silly 16-year-old girl. people would lose their fucking minds. But women did that shit left and right, and people are, okay, that's okay. Now, I do get that to some extent. We talked about before, if my son was 15, 16, 17, and came home and said he fucked his teacher, the level of high five would be unimaginable. That would be the shock heard around the world, okay? But if my daughter came home and said the same thing, yeah, I'm gonna go fucking shoot myself a teacher, you know? So I understand some of the mentality like that, you know? But if we're getting into this world where we're all supposed to be equal, these women should have been fucking trashed for how they acted like that. And I think it has a big issue to do of, you know, people say women mature a lot faster than men. I've never seen it in my life. Okay,
Yeah.
women start dressing like fucking sluts earlier. They start putting on makeup. That isn't maturing. That's you fucking painting yourself like you've grown up.
I think we
You know-
approached this topic within the first 5 shows. You had a whole
I mean,
rant about it.
Look at these famous shows women watch. It's all high school dramas. I mean, you look at the demographics for that one, Degrassi, it was a bunch of fucking adult women. I could not give a single shit about what anybody's doing in high school. It's impossible for me, okay? So you're telling me these women have matured faster than men and they still care so much about high school? It's ridiculous to me. And I think they should have gotten a whole lot more flack for how they were acting with these little Twilight teenagers than they fucking did. That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
I'm trying to find it.
I agree.
What was it? Twilight Moms? Moms for Twilight?
Yeah, I mean, no. These demographics of women that are for these movies have been around. I mean,
There's this double
you don't-
standard.
You don't even need to go that
Big fucking
far.
double standard.
Justin Bieber. Look at Justin Bieber.
Oh, yeah, a bunch of adult women.
Yeah,
these
a
days.
bunch of adult women fawn over him, and didn't just start fawning over him. They've been fawning
It's
over him.
not just
for-
that.
Yeah,
It's even the
he was
justice
underage.
system. It's the
Yeah.
justice system. It's courts in general. Alan, I mean, you were right there, man. You know the battle I had to fight. You know, when it came to divorce and custody and freaking all that stuff. It's a one-way street. You can't flip it. There's nobody cares. I mean, they look at it different. You know, we want women's rights until we don't need it.
Or
we
until
want-
the rights are given, and then you're expected to perform your side of the fence. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a double standard. I mean, it just doesn't apply equally, and you know, it's
And I'll
the
tell you
world we
what,
live in.
as much shit as I talk, the way I treat women is almost exactly how I treat other men, and I get shit for it all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Women pissed that I'm treating them like that. You remember Dave's your cousin's wife? Remember
Yep.
how pissed she was? I treated men like that all the time, and she was like running to people for help.
Yeah, I remember that. It was kind of funny to watch. It was kind of funny to watch. We
So-
were thoroughly amused.
It's just ridiculous.
You were equal opportunity offender, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's
Or at least
ridiculous. And I
tries to
remember, I'm trying to find the link, and I can't find it right now. But there was one feminist, she was like a feminist blogger, who was pissed because this 8-year-old boy was raped by his like 19-year-old babysitter. And she was pissed that people were saying he was a rapist. People keep saying he's a victim, he's a victim. He's not a victim, he's a boy. What? Are you kidding me? And I'm trying to find her exact, but she was furious that people were trying to say that, why isn't this woman going to jail? That's ridiculous,
Yeah.
No, who knows how he approached her? An 8-year-old?
What? Yeah, I know.
There's
It's
if you can be smooth talked into sex by an 8-year-old, you got way bigger problems.
Some teacher used that as an excuse when she got caught fucking some high school kids. She used, man, he was just kept coming on to me and coming on to me. What? Are you really blaming a child for you fucking him? As a woman, you should be an expert at telling a guy no.
Fuck off. Yeah, you would think they got all the practice.
If you can't tell a 15-year-old boy no, how often are you fucked? I mean, how do you make it to work on time?
that's fun.
What's that joke? Like I think it was Chris Rock. I might be misquoting, but it was like from the age of 13, anytime anybody does anything for you and they're male, they might as well just be saying, "Can I fuck you?" She's like, "Oh, let me open this door for you. Can I fuck you?"
And I'm saying it because I totally, people bitch, and I see it like these men rights things bitch about women turning them down aggressively. Like being assholes when they're freaking rejecting it. And I'm like, my issue is I've seen how women go throughout their day, and dick is the most marketed thing in the world when you're a fucking woman. You cannot go anywhere without somebody trying to sell you some dick. So I totally understand you getting sick of, fuck off. Okay, I've done it. I've been in, and I usually bring this up because this shit irritates me to no end. When I'm in the mall, the first person, hey, you want a cell phone? No, man, I got a cell phone. Hey, you want to check out these watches? No, I'm fine. I don't want your fucking $20 watches you're selling for $40. You want some sunglasses? No, I'm good. By the time I get over to the fucking, lotion salesman, I'm like, dude, fuck off. Get the fuck off me. Just let me walk to the store, grab my pair of pants, and leave this place. Fuck you. And that guy probably thinks I'm an asshole, But it's because I've been harassed this whole way here. That's the same thing that happens with women. You're at the club, you're fucking, hitting on some girl, thinking it'd go well. Can I get your number? No, fuck you. I don't give you my number. Oh, yeah, that's because every guy in this club has done the same thing. She's just fucking burnt out by now, man. Mm-hmm. She probably gave a kind rejection. No, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. And then after the fucking 20th dick is waved in her face, okay, fuck you, get away from me. So I understand that point of it, and I could totally understand a 16-year-old boy coming on to a teacher, but you should be an adult and be able to walk away, especially when you're put in a position of responsibility like that.
Yeah.
Supposedly why these kids are at school, me as a parent, I'm giving up some of my guardianship of my kids while they're at the school. That's a legal ruling.
Yeah, it has to go that way.
There was that parent, I don't know if you remember this, White Knight, but you remember that parent in, I think it was either Tennessee or Georgia, he went to go pick up his kid early, and the school had him arrested because he was causing too much of a fucking fuss, wanting to get his kid.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, no. He argued with the no. You know what? Fuck, I'm the parent. Go bring me my kid. We're leaving here. And they took him out in handcuffs. So you're taking this level of responsibility from me as a parent, and then you're fucking my kid. No, you need to go to jail for that. You're abusing a position of authority and fucking a fucking child. Take your ass to jail.
All right, so we know the solution for Alone in the Dark is stop him from watching the tele. What about you there, Mr. White? Mr. Knight?
I'm still hung up that we're not going to talk about the damn election,
well,
why the fuck did I call in, man? Did I just go through a fucking hour-long drive of Kardashians innards? I mean,
yes,
really,
you did. Yes, you did.
What the fuck?
Now you know how everybody feels.
Yes,
now you know.
Yes.
You know the problem.
I mean, what it sounds like to me is, kind of like what Fuckface in Colorado talks about. It's really about personal responsibilities. If you don't want your kids to see some shit, fucking remove it from their vocabulary. Take them away from them. If I don't want my kids shot in school, put them in a private school. I don't trust the fucking county to teach my kids, or lack thereof.
Especially the county you live in.
Exactly. I don't depend on, somebody that gets paid by lobbyists to dictate my son's future. I'm going to go ahead and go to a professional. It's little things like that. That's kind of what I was saying about. You were saying, well, here's the solution. I'm like, well, what's the fucking problem? Because from where I'm looking, America doesn't think we have a problem. So yeah. I mean, we don't. There's nothing to fix. Now I feel like there's something to fix, and I know you do. Both of you guys do as well. But the problem with a solution is that there's no problem. Nobody else. We're the lone fucking strangers here because nobody else sees it as a problem. They want to just keep giving money.
I agree with both of you guys, but I'll cast an even wider net. I'll say it's not just personal responsibility of individuals. I think as a society we're responsible. Yeah. Like you can go online and find no end of complaints about these broads. No ends of complaints about these broads. The behavior and the way they act and how we approach that whole thing. But a testament to how influential they are is that their show is still on TV. So at the end of the day, if we who find this problem and who complain about it repeatedly can't find a way to get that whole thing off the air or shut down or altered, guess what? Whether we like it or not, democratically we have agreed that this is fine.
Yeah, it's just, fight the battles worth fighting. Nobody wants to give it the time, People just aren't as hard. They don't care. It's just not a big deal, and they'll let that encroach in their lives because it's just not something they really give two rats ass about. They know that they can just walk away from it. So why would I, take the time to boycott this channel or boycott?
I hate you so much. The level of hate, you have no idea. So that, ladies and gentlemen, that was the charming shot. Jesus. Come on. People ask me sometimes, are you racist?
Shit.
And I have to answer yes.
Used to get stuff changed in this country.
But what people don't understand, there we go, fucking finally, Jesus. People don't understand is I am totally a racist, but I fucking hate all people, okay? This guy right here making me hate white people with such a passion.
Yeah.
Such a passion right now. It's incredible, okay?
Just like I hate you. It's a mutual acquaintance. If I could go back in time, I'd give your mother a coat hanger. You know what I'm saying? I love you, dude.
I think you'd be doing him a favor, man. You'd be doing him a favor if you did that. All right, I think we're all in agreement. There's stuff to be fixed. We obviously didn't get to hit the topic of Trump, so we're gonna have to hit it next week, which gives me a chance to actually read the thing. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, like you know how to read.
Barely, but it works. Gotten away with it this long.
All right, motherfuckers. Listen, we'll see you guys next week, possibly at the same time. Hopefully with better white people.
I've been your host, Jonathan Esther.
This is Low in the Dark.
Later.
The whitest.
Lord knows you're not white. The night white. The night white.
The nightest white.
Jesus Christ.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's been the show. Y'all take care. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.